Hi there guys, and welcome back to another one with us, the Review Bros, and today I'm going to be reviewing a pre-workout called Predominance by Ultra Labs, and it looks very scary, at least on the label anyway. I've not used it yet. I'm going to use it fresh in this review for the first and only time. You'll understand why I'm saying that when I get onto the label, and I don't really take high Stim pre-workouts anymore. The last one I took for a review was about 3 months ago, and I done Crack Reloaded with Aaron because he tends to review all of them these days, so cheers Aaron. But let's get into this one. How's it going to stack up as we cover taste, price, label, effects, will I survive? And if you are new here and you like the video, please do give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, tick the bell icon, all the usuals. Let's get into it. Okay, so taste and mixability, we have got natural flavour, lemon. Well, there's nothing natural about this pre-workout when we get into it, trust me. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a very unaesthetic, blended up, poo-poo kind of appearance. So it's not going to win any Mr. Olympia awards on its looks. Mixability, not great. There are some bits settled at the bottom there, but there is a lot of different bits and pieces in the formula. So that may explain it to a degree, but like I said, first time, so genuine first time flavour reaction this is going to be. Please taste at least half decent pre-workout. So let's go. That's not bad. Tastes like lemon ice cream. Well, that's a pleasant surprise. Yeah, it's really not bad. There's some slight weirdness on the back end, but overall infinitely better than I thought it was going to be, trust me. So let's give it another sip. Yeah, I'm happy to give this a 7.5 out of 10, you know. Like that surprised me. It's not bad tasting at all. It's not one I'm going to struggle with, so not a bad start. Let's move into price. Okay, let's talk price of Predominance, and it is going to be a bit of an unprecedented price segment, simply because when I try and go on their website, it says under construction, and when you Google the pre-workout, there seems to be no other retailers selling it. So we have messaged the company, we're just waiting to hear back. We're trying to find out, you know, where to direct you guys if you're interested, and when we do find out, we'll pin it in the comments, so fear not. But it makes the pre-workout even more mysterious, doesn't it? So I'm not going to be able to tell you whether it's worth the value for money or not, simply because I don't know the retail price. But when we get further information, I'll be able to drop down some details in the comment section like I mentioned. So stay tuned, and without further ado, let's get into the label and the effects. Okay, let's talk label time. So what have we got here? So one scoop is 15 grams, and a dead flat scoop does actually get you that. So thumbs up for these guys for at least making their scoop accurate when it concerns these kind of labels. So we've got the 40-20 serving approach here, obviously 20 serves on that full scoop. Beta-alanine 3.2 grams, the amount we look for. Itchy tingly sensation when it kicks in, also helps with endurance when it builds up in your system. L-tyrosine 1500 milligrams, solid dose again. We normally only see about a gram. Amino acid responsible for focus, concentration. Choline bitartrate, a gram, the worst form of choline, but an okay dose of it, so it should have some effect. It's obviously a choline donor, it's going to help with, again, focus and concentration. Same can be said for lion's mane at a gram, which is a really nice dose. Also helps with mood boosting benefits, anti-stress, that kind of thing. Then we've got L-taurine at a gram, the dose we look for, nice there. Jack of all trades, amino, hydration, pumps, energy production, focus. Caffeine anhydrous, 600 milligrams. Woo! Double the normal. 6 cups of coffee worth of stimulation there, so that main stimulant's going to wake you up and get you moving. And even if that was it for stimulants, I'd be like, fair enough, I'm still a little bit scared, but we carry on. Then we've got vitamin C, 500 milligrams, nothing really to say about that, general health. Then we've got a Reagerensis, half a gram, 500 milligrams. Now, I don't know if we've ever, I think we might have seen maybe 500 or 600, but it's extremely rare that it's that high. I'll tell you that much. You normally only see it at about 200 to 300 milligrams, and even then that would be considered high. So 500 is silly high. It's more of a natural form of a DMHA replacement that helps with energy levels, focus and drive. Then we've got Juglans Reager Extract, 300 milligrams, another solid dose. Now, we always find this depends on the purity and the sourcing of the ingredient as to how potent it hits, but again, it's touted as a more natural replacement of a DMHA derivative. Again, more focus, energy and drive. Then we've got Theocrena's T-Crean, should I say, 250 milligrams, another stimulant-esque ingredient. It's not actually technically a stimulant, but it does work alongside caffeine to wake you up, improve focus, and actually bolster up the effects of caffeine. Then we've got theobromine, 250 milligrams, solid dose there, so ingredient in chocolate dogs cannot digest. Helps with mood boosting benefits, bit of energy, blood flow. And then we've got hesperidine at 120 milligrams, which is basically citrus bioflavonoids that's touted for help with blood flow, circulation, and ultimately going to help with the pump. Then we've got synephrine, 100 milligrams, which is a potent fat burner. It's going to help metabolize fat cells for energy and heat you up. And then thankfully we've got black pepper extract at 10 milligrams, which is double the dose we typically see. It's going to help get all of this through you as quickly and efficiently as possible. And it's just as well because it is a large label. But let's see how it comes together in the gym. Let's talk effects of Predominance pre-workout in the real world. So how did it come together? Well, I used it the one time today, like I mentioned. I've also given it to a friend on a full scoop and another friend on a half scoop. So I'm going to be factoring what they said just to give you a full spectrum idea on the pre-workout. But let's start off like we always do with that beta-alanine. It's in there at the clinical dose. We do have the digestive aid as well. It didn't actually kick in as strong as I was expecting. It kicked in at like maybe a 2 or 3 out of 10 on the tingle scale. So very mild, no intense tingles. If you don't like beta-alanine, you'd probably be all right with it. But I think the reason that it didn't kick in that hard is because there's a lot of ingredients in this pre-workout, so there's a lot at play. So there's a lot to get through your body, so the beta-alanine takes a bit of a back seat in terms of how it kicks in. So what I will say is you feel that hit of the 600 caffeine after about 20-30 minutes. The heart rate goes up, the sense of urgency kicks in, that sort of like oomphed up feeling, that well, sense of urgency, that almost adrenaline sort of feeling comes over you. I wouldn't say it kicks into a nasty, horrible, jittery amount though, which really surprised me, because when I saw that 600 lump of caffeine, I thought, yeah, that's going to leave me feeling like, ooh. But no, it actually come in, other than that initial hit, it smoothed out very nicely and lasted a good couple of hours. So the caffeine didn't turn out to be as scary as it looks on paper, which is good. So let's talk about the energy whilst we're on it. This pre-workout will leave you caffeinated and motivated. It's one of those ones that makes you super dialed in a very focused, productive, serious way, a confident way. I'd say it makes you happy, but not in the typical like euphoric happiness, like floaty, like woo feeling, but more in like a confident happy, where like you're enjoying your training, you're enjoying your music, you're in a very kill it type mindset. So that's the energy. Well, I'm talking about the energy and focus really, aren't I? But they do kind of pair together. So the energy comes in after about half an hour, like I said. I'd say it lasts a good 2 to 3 hours at maximum impact, and then whittles on down. I feel like after my training session, I did have a bit of a crash, a bit of a weird, I don't know, like just lost kind of feeling. But I think that's because I train like a maniac on this stuff. So I don't necessarily put it down to the pre-workout itself. I also put it down to the fact that it gets you training like crazy. So it will leave you feeling slightly frazzled after your training. With the Juggler's Reader, it's hard to judge really, because you do get an illicit style focus where you're like very dialed in, tunneled into your training, like right, let's go, like your eyes feel open, but it doesn't feel like a traditional DMHA floaty high euphoric type feeling. So I wouldn't say that it's one of these ones where they're saying Jugglins and they put real DMHA in it, but at the same time, I wouldn't say there's no illicitness to it, if you get what I mean. It could just be that 500 milligrams of Reagerensis that I was feeling, but I've also had a hefty dose of that in more daily driver type pre-workouts like your Gorilla Modes and whatnot. Greg Doucette's one. It's in there at like 300, I think, and it didn't have me feeling as mentally dialed in as this one. Granted, there's a 500 in here, so that could explain it. But I think that there is more to this than just the caffeine and the urea and the synephrine. So I do think that there is something to be said for the Jugglins, but just be warned that it doesn't feel like a typical, it doesn't feel like freaking 300 milligrams of DMHA, put it that way. But it does feel like there is something illicit to it. So yeah, that's sort of the focus and energy sort of side of things. Smoother than expected, no jitters, no nastiness, nothing like that. The pumps, not really a factor. So, you know, there's not really much to say on the pumps. It's not promising pumps. It simply says intense energy and focus. And do you know what? It delivers that. So fair play to the guys over at Ultra Labs, if you exist still. So yeah, pumps, you kind of work them up yourself through the work rate that this gets you putting in. So pumps, not going to factor it into review. It's not promising pumps, no. Energy and focus, it ticks those boxes most definitely, and there's no negatives to it. So I say that, but there is a bit of mild appetite suppression, but that's very discretionary. If you want to be slightly appetite suppressed and you're on a cut, you might say that as a benefit, whereas if you're bulking, you won't, obviously. So take that as you will. That's the only noteworthy thing. You know, there's no stim dick, there's no harsh, nasty crash, there's no jitters, there's no nausea, there's no cold sweats, you know, nothing like that. So yeah, if I had to categorise it, I would say it's a productive Stim Junkie pre-workout, but more on the entry level of Stim Junkie. Like, it's not going to ruin your life, not unless you're super caffeine sensitive, that is. So yeah, it's one that you're going to kill your training on. You're going to be in the zone. You're going to be like, get out of my way. I want to lift some heavy ass weight, and you're going to do it and you're going to enjoy it. It's one of those ones. I'd actually kind of say it felt along the lines of Domination pre-workout, actually, that I reviewed a couple of months ago. I can't remember the company that developed that one, but it's called Domination, which is funny because this one's called Predominance. But that one felt more jittery and high stim and nutty compared to this one, if I do have to say so. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed this pre-workout. It didn't actually scare me as much as I thought it would in terms of how it felt. I think it's simply because that caffeine actually ended up feeling smoother than what I thought it would. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I probably will actually use it again, which I wouldn't have said that prior to using it, looking at the label. So yeah, having said that though, I wouldn't say it was underwhelming either. Like, I know I said the label looks crazy and I'm saying it doesn't feel as crazy in real life, but I don't feel disappointed by that because actually I still had a fantastic training session, absolutely killed it. And like I said, I gave this to a friend at a full scoop. He said the exact same thing as me. And the person that took it at half scoop is a girl. She said she still felt it, you know, really potently. So that leads me to believe that even a half scoop for lesser experienced people would still find this potent and effective. So yeah.
Savage pumps in the gym and the bedroom. Wolf pump.
If I'm to factor in everything about this pre-workout and give you a total score, I would say, it's tricky. I'm not going to factor in the pumps. So I would give, honestly, I'd give the energy and the focus, literally both, like a 9.5 out of 10. Like, it's that good. And the sense of like confidence, the endurance, just how good of a training session you have on it. You really I'm struggling to fault it. I just don't think it's quite special enough to earn itself a 10. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It's just not quite 10 out of 10 level. And I know I'm not factoring in the pumps, but it would have been nice to have a couple of pump bits thrown in there. But yeah, that's me. That's my opinion on this pre-workout. Have you used it? If you have, what do you think of it? Is there anything else you want to see us review? You know how this works by now. Drop it down in the comments. And as always, stay stimmed.